What is up, down, and sideways, you beautiful people? It is League Unlock right here, right now. Eric and Mark with you guys for a little bit of juicy, and I mean juicy, global power rankings. It's hard to call it or refer to it by a week because all these different regions are on different weeks. We're calling it week 2. We'll base it off the LEC, sure, why not? But it's still, the theme here is going to be, it's hard to rank a lot of the specifically EU teams because they just haven't played enough games.
Yeah, I think we're still going to be keeping that story as the headline for another week, maybe 2, maybe pushing it to 2 to get a little bit more games.
I mean, Cloud9 played a whole split almost in the lock-in tournament, so
yeah, we're definitely benefiting with the lock-in tournament in North America, and especially the teams that have had any chance to stand out in that lock-in tournament for North America to get spots on our list. Of course, you have your LCK and LPL powerhouses leading the charge
and filling out most of this top 20. But we're starting 20 to 11, and right at 20, you have 100 Thieves, who was the top 3. You know, they got reverse swept by Cloud9. They looked pretty good overall the entire lock-in tournament. And the reason you have somebody like 100 Thieves here over, okay, Mad Lions, they went 2-0, had an insane game against Fnatic, but looked pretty good. But guys, it's 5 games. We've only seen 5 games out of Mad Lions. A couple more weeks, I'm pretty confident they'll be on this list.
If you see continued performance, continued excellence from someone like the Mad Lions, absolutely finding their way into this type of list. But right now, 100 Thieves, I think, are absolutely deserving of getting this nod right at the very edge of this list, getting in through, and what potential, right? What they showed us throughout the lock-in tournament, how well they can play already, the synergy that obviously the 4 members from the Golden Guardians last year, and then adding in Someday to that mix. Yeah, I like your chances, and I like what they've shown us so far in the lock-in tournament and heading towards that regular season, the regular split for the LCS. You have to be thinking expectations going up for this 100 Thieves roster.
Yeah, 100 Thieves and Mad Lions both expect them to climb ahead of squads like DRX, who have overperformed a little in at number 19. Even though they slid back a little, they're still 4-2, performing better than this mostly rookie squad most people would have anticipated out of them. They're still on the list for now, but I feel like their days are fleeting that we'll be talking about them at the top 20.
Hey, they're doing better than T1, so that's got to count for something.
Wait, I don't see T1 on this list. Oh no!
Good thing you don't see T1. That'd be crazy.
I don't care how many fans they've got, guys. T1's not on the list right now, and it might be a couple weeks before they can even climb out of the depths to get there. Then we have C9, who did move up a spot despite losing in the finals. A lot of that because of the impressive comeback from 100 Thieves and almost comeback against Team Liquid, who you'll see are several spots ahead of them at number 15. Team Liquid only dropped 3 games the entire lock-in tournament.
The thing to watch, if you're talking about Cloud9 specifically, is going to be the weeks moving forward, is the progression that you want to see happen. And I will say, with that progression, a little star, little asterisk there to make sure of, is watching for any slip-ups, right? Watching for step backwards, because I feel like what we've seen with this Cloud9 roster, we know that there will be some struggles, there will be some things to get through and work on, and that's just at the very beginning of the year. And of course, expecting that to lessen, there might be a problem pop up in that midseason. This is a squad that will have to take care of it. When you're talking Team Liquid, I almost have no concerns about as far as problems in that same nature of what they need to iron out. Talked about the additions of Santorin and Alfari and how really these are perfect additions, and not only being upgrades for you in many aspects, but as well the identity fit for what Team Liquid is building, how they want to be playing, and what you want to nurture. You couldn't have found better options.
Obviously, if we're redoing the preseason rankings after the lock-in, Team Liquid, they won the whole event. So you're putting them ahead of Cloud9 in that number 1 spot. But let's be honest, they're clearly the top 2, as we've talked about countless times, which is why Team Liquid is that number 1 North American team heading into the spring split. JDG, because they got absolutely clapped by top eSports, they moved down a bunch, down to number 17, now at 2-3. And Victory 5, a spot ahead of them. They were close today, Mark, to getting a big, at least 1-game win against EDG, and then they put up, one of the biggest throws that we've seen in 2021. Way to go, boys.
And unfortunately, we've already seen big throws. So to say that it's one of them, That's not good company that you want to be in. PP God and the Victory 5 bros, they're doing okay. They're holding on just fine, but you're right. Needed a little bit extra juice to make sure you stayed on track, getting that big, at least one game upset against EDG, holding their ground in the power rankings.
The biggest debut or highest climb for their debut so far, again, early in the year still, is Suning in at number 14. And they haven't beaten the big boys yet, but they've annihilated the bottom feeders or the lower tier teams in the LPL. And I don't mean like a convincing 2-0. I mean like it looks like they're going up against a challenger squad, how badly they were beaten up on LGD and OMG.
Yeah, this is Suning that we were looking at and seeing some, kind of, I guess it's hard to talk about it in this way, given how early it is in North America and Europe. But, a couple weeks in already for the LPL. In that middle stretch, you're looking at Suning and going, oh, man, they started out the year with that, good week. And now it's not really working out so well. Definitely over the last week, more of a bounce back, return to form that you want to see from the Suning roster. And as you said, the real excitement is in how well and how much and how badly they beat down on their opponents this past week, getting back into form, getting back into a position that you can feel hyped about them matching up against the top of the table in the LPL.
And one of the reasons we're starting to get a little, not worried, slight concern about squads like JDG, even Suning at 3-3, is because squads like LNG and BLG both have 4 wins already. Teams you expected not being in the playoff hunt are fully cemented in there, and they're at number 12 and 13 this week. BLG gave RNG their first series loss of the season. Looked really good in that match, and LNG beat Billy. So both of them are better than we probably expected coming into this year.
This is us being silly, my man. This is us writing off, saying Tarzan, he can't do that much. There's no way he's that. Hey, man, that's not meant to take away anything else from anybody else on the roster. Tarzan is that level, and he's showing it very early in the LPL, making sure that LNG get off to that start, which no one would have expected.
And of course, they still haven't proven themselves against the big boys. We're not throwing them in the top 10 anytime soon, unless they're to get into the top 10 of these rankings. You need to have a statement win against a very good squad domestically. LNG and BLG, BLG has it against RNG, so that argument's null and void. But LNG at least still needs to prove that before they're going to be climbing any higher.
That's exactly the next level of test for a squad like LNG to really prove themselves and then show some more. BLG, you got it right, my man. They took down RNG. The real question, though, for BLG, again, is going to be seeing them match up against that level of skill, because there still is a little bit of that doubt about getting the best level performance from a top-level team against them and seeing how they can stack up, because I think everybody could say that was less than ideal from RNG in the way that the top lane play specifically from Xiaohu was going, and that's not exactly what we've seen so far this year.
And talking of top lanes, IG, they're very familiar with being in the top 10 of all these rankings. They slide out this week because of that tough 0-2 loss against FPX, just when we were getting, a single carry performance from the Shy on Quinn. Okay, here comes IG back full throttle. Then we get him on the cannon TPing into 4 members and dying instantly. Whoops.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's him identifying, oh my God, this is FPX, former world champions. They're looking strong this year. I gotta find a way to step up. And it's like, just do less. Do less.
He's remembering the Nuggery head-to-head at 2019 Worlds. Those were fun times.
Yeah, I don't know so much now if those are fun times, the way that it's playing out for him. FPX, yeah, they're feeling pretty damn strong about what's going on. IG, you're right, not the best of weeks for them.
Yeah, and this is still a squad we're expecting to be in playoffs, at least make it a deep run, but they're a little too wishy-washy, I'll say right now, which is in the dictionary definition of Invictus Gaming. So
you'll see a picture of the Shy, and then you'll see also sometimes Balon.
Balon's picture is upside down in the dictionary because I don't even know why.
It was Jackie Love that did it too.
Yeah, of course. He's the one who did that. The top 10 this week, it's almost the exact same, apart from IG sliding out from last week. A little bit of movement. We still have Rogue at 10. G2 drops 1 spot to 9 because of the loss to Schalke. And people are going to say, You just said it wasn't enough games for Mad Lions to be here, but Rogue and G2 are in the top 10. Listen, the confidence that you have in these two squads through the first 5 games, even coming into this year, is so much higher than anyone else at EU.
You're off your rocker, my man. If you're thinking that the Mad Lions are in the same territory as Rogue, as G2, what we've seen from those teams, those squads, individual star players, it ain't the same, my man. It ain't the same whatsoever. And there's not a lot of teams that could say that they're the same as Rogue and G2. That's why they're so good. You can't be having everybody in this category. Rogue and G2 slotting right in nicely into the top 10. And even with that loss that G2 suffered this week, still tons of confidence about what this roster can do and the power that they're going to exert.
And that's the thing with, as much as these rankings are for 2021, just looking at this year, certain teams have more leeway, right? If LNG goes 0-2 in a week, they're going to plummet through the power rankings because they don't have that history, that precedent of performing at a high level. If G2 goes 0-2 1 week, do they go out of the top 10? Maybe, but you're still very confident in the squad, even if they have 1, even 2 bad weeks.
We've seen a bad week from G2 here and there during their reign. And we've had people question, we've had them almost miss playoffs and still win a championship at the end of it all. Yeah, Rogue and G2 absolutely are let alone, I think, obviously their performance, I think, deserving of this spot and what you've been able to see from them. You're right. A nice time to talk about the leeway that some of these teams can buy themselves with good performances, consistency in those good performances.
And a team like Top eSports, who have climbed into the top 10 for the first time, they have that leeway as well, even though we didn't have them in the top 20 initially. As soon as they start clicking, now we've seen 3 series in a row that they've won. They just stomped JDG in 2-0 fashion. That's the TES we're expecting to see. Jackie Love has some of the most disgusting 80 carry numbers in the LPL. Night is night. Still waiting for 369 to fully come back online. But again, it's from what we saw in 2020. As soon as things start going in the right direction, a team like TES is going to climb up pretty quickly.
Yeah, outside of maybe 2 games, which I know LEC, LCS, that sounds like a lot so far, but in the LPL, 2 games, there's a lot more still happening. Outside of those 2 games, really, for Top eSports, where they did not look very good or even aware that their monitors were off probably playing these games. They changed that, my man. They got the power buttons on, and they're certainly powerful on the Rift is how they're playing. And what you see with the record from Top eSports and what they've put together the last 2 weeks, back into that conversation, back into seeing them you want these marquee matchups against EDG, a matchup against the WE, RNG, the top teams. That's exactly where Top eSports belongs, and you want to see them fight.
And just remember a caveat about the records on these boards, because 4-1 for G2, 3-2 for TES. They've played the same amount of games, guys. The LPL records are best of 3s, so they've played 2 to 3 times as many games. Just remember that.
And a little different when you're talking about going up against the elites of the LPL compared to opening up week 1, week 2 of the LEC against, mid-tier. I
mean, one of those G2 wins is against Astralis also, guys. So if we're talking mid-tier, sorry, Astralis. Had to do it. 6 and 7, the same as last week. It's Hanwha and Gen G. You can put these teams either way. We kept them the same as Hanwha, even though they lost to Damwon and Gen G beat Live Sandbox. It wasn't the cleanest 2-0 from Gen G, and getting 2-0'd by Damwon when one of the games is really close. It's not a huge knock. I would accept Gen G ahead of Hanwha Life. I could go either way here.
Exactly. You can flip-flop them however you want right now. This is going to be one of those situations where, for Gen G at the very least, eyes towards next week, I want to see some good performance. I want to see another level gain to keep your spot in the power rankings, if not climb more. And then for Hanwha Life, it's Chovy. You're not sitting this high in the power rankings without Chovy performing at that level. Yes, he's getting a little bit of help. Deft has played better than he did for a lot of stretches last year, at least towards the end of the year for sure. Definitely better from him. And that is going to be necessary if Hanwha Life needs to hold this spot or even hope to continue climbing up the power rankings. I tell you what, Chovy power is pretty damn strong.
Yeah,
You're gonna need a little bit else though.
both of them play against, middle tier LCK teams, but teams below them in the standings. So if it's a 2-0 clean week for either of them, that's what you want to be seeing for these guys that want to be legit contenders. You got to beat the teams below you, and you got to do it cleanly.
Take care of business, and again, not only at this point taking care of business, but taking care of business with a bit of style, a bit of flair to you, a bit of that next level is what we're looking for teams like Hanwha and Gen G.
Ruler and BDDing 2v5ing under the Baron pit. That's the style I'm looking for. That's what I want to see.
Hey, who doesn't love seeing that?
Even if, you put yourselves in a, game losing scenario that's how you win the game. But when you got Ruler and BDD, it's fine. It's just like Jackie Love and Knight on top esports. To that top 5, which is the same 5 teams as last week, but we're changing the order a little bit, starting with that number 5 spot. It's World Elite who go down. They were number 2. They go down 3 spots. They went 0-2. Okay, everybody panic. Everyone hit the alarm. It's all over for World Elite. They lost to RNG, who played really well in that series, is also a top 5 team. And the game that World Elite just lost to Rare Atom, I'm throwing out a big caveat that Shanks was not playing, and the backup Yumang is not on the same level as what we've seen from Shanks, and the whole team looked a little bit out of sorts with the sub mid laner.
It was the perfect storm for the upset, for the loss today for WE. We've been hyping them up, and your boys, the bad boys of the LPL, Rare Atom.
Boy.
Oh my goodness. Smacking down W. You're right. Obviously, the first one is that series against RNG, which was even with that loss, still had a lot of good highlights back and forth on both sides to be talking about. And then, yes, the most recent loss against Rare Atom. Without Shanks in there, I'm not counting this one against the WE boys and what they've shown us. It's a little unfortunate considering it's, on the back end of that series to RNG, which is a loss.
Yeah.
I can't dock them. I can't knock them down for this.
Obviously, they're going down some spots for going 0-2, but not enough to drop them out of the top 5 based on the first 5 series that we saw out of them in the LPL. RNG also got their first loss against Billy, but you combine that with the win against World Elite, and they're sitting pretty in that number 4 spot. And this far into the season now, World Elite down, RNG down. The only perfect team left in any of the major regions. We're talking about EDG, Edward Gaming, and today against Victory 5, it looked just like the EDG of old because it was your boy Scout pulling up the pants and carrying big time in game 1. Yes, it was a huge throw out of Victory 5, but that throw does not happen without Scout playing out of his mind.
We've talked about it with EDG. We've sung the big time praises of acquisitions like Viper paying off big time early into this year. Flandre stepping in and playing with a lot of confidence with a team that is of an elite level now. But yeah, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for the Scout Show to fully arrive this year in the LPL. And it's back, baby. And it's strong. And EDG needed it to make sure they were there to catch the Victory 5 throw this morning and continue the perfect streak.
And hey, kudos to EDG after getting all the momentum after stealing that game 1. Game 2 was just, it was over before Champ Select even started. EDG just steamrolled through that second game. And 6-0 in the LPL. I don't care what team you are, with how stacked this league is, you better be taking this squad seriously.
You have to be right now with EDG, what they've shown, let alone in their highlights, right? You're talking just strictly, oh my God, I'm looking at the record. 6, how are we going to beat them? Yeah, that's one reaction. And then you show them the highlights and you're hiding under your bed saying, I don't want to be going into this one, my man.
And unfortunately for them, they actually didn't move up because they did kind of have that bad game 1 against V5. So they stay put at number 3. But the real reason they don't move up is because the Phoenix is rising, Mark. FPX, the 2-0 against IG, the demolishing that happened to them, and how this squad looks now with Bo as the starting jungler, they look like the favorites to win the LPL to me.
It is insane that this is able to happen, that you're able to have an FPX team that we're talking about with Tian and even some struggles there. And we're talking about the level of play, the potential that they're able to have. And they're still one of the top teams in the world. And where do you find Bo to just step in and drop quadra kills all over the place in the LPL? Insanity. is the FPX roster, and it is crazy because you have EDG 6-0, providing every type of reason to be pushing for that top spot in the power rankings.
They've done nothing wrong.
And you can't get by an FPX team because they just splash in like this with the performances of Bo and what they've been able to do. You are absolutely right. It is a phoenix rising for FPX. They are charging up the charts.
And I mean, the recent matches, they're all 2-0s that I'm about to list. E-Star, okay, whatever. Beat E-Star. Suning, when they were starting to come online, that's the last time Suning has lost. And IG, when they just started looking to be coming up. And these were 2-0 demolishings. Like, it didn't even look like they were playing other LPL playoff teams.
And as we talked about, the excitement for FPX is not just having, obviously, Nuggery be Nuggery in the top side. It's not just that, oh my God, LWX is back in form, back in the damage dealing that we won when we won the World Championship. That's when LWX was back at this level. And you got Doin B busting out whatever he wants, playing to a high level in the mid lane. And it doesn't matter because the star of the show, again, it's all about Bo and Bo stepping in and what he's been able to do for FPX.
And it's great that he's surrounded by all these veterans, right? I still feel like this is the optimal way to bring in a rookie that you, especially is going to be featured as, you know, he's hyped up. You're expecting him to almost be a star in the region. You have world champions around him in every position, not just like good playoff team. The literal 4 world champions are the other 4 roles.
Yeah, you could not have asked for better. And obviously, you know, not the ideal situation for anybody with the whole situation playing out with Tian and whatnot, but turning any opportunity into a positive is what you like to see. And you better be damn sure that this is a positive from Bo stepping into this opportunity and really running with it.
And because of that, FPX is a terrifying matchup. Their next one is against LNG. Listen, LNG, you take down FPX, I'll put you in the top 10. I'll pencil you in right away for next week if you come away with that series win. I don't see it happening, but
I'm just excited to get to see Bo and Tarzan, my man. That's what we're going for in the jungle, the clash of the Titans right now.
Who gets to play Olaf and who gets Gore Drinker first? That's the name of the game in the jungle right now. All that praise for FPX. Yeah, we still have Damwon in at number 1. But what this really means is at 1 and 2, did that Con Nuggery trade work out for everybody or what?
Hey, we're feeling pretty damn good because especially
both sides, thumbs up.
Yeah, for FPX, what you got in Nuggery as a player and the differences from him and how Con was performing, absolutely slam dunk home run for the FPX squad. And that's not even bringing in the winners to me of this all, which is, how do you have a winner and you're giving up Nuggery in a situation is crazy. The winners is the number 1 team, Damwon Kia Gaming. Oh my Lord. They continue to be the best that we've got. Khan, as the name, as we've been talking, Nuggery Khan.
Clearly the best top laner in the LCK so far in spring.
The way that he performs, the way that he dominates, the attitude that he takes into the game, absolutely of a champion, the best top laner in the LCK right now.
I'll say it again. You heard Atlas say this on the cast. Khan is the strongest 0-6 that you've ever seen in a game. The man picks up MVP when he's 1-6 on the Quinn.
My Lord. Yeah, that's the type of terror that he can absolutely be. And the best thing, right? You're talking about, you know, maybe him back with FPX. You know, we don't know exactly how everything was working with the coaching staff, but you bet at 0-6, Khan is starting to tilt out, man. He is not happy, not feeling good. Damwon, he knows he's got Coma back behind him, man. He's going to have a nice chat. He might even need to bring in the belt. Who knows what's going on? But I tell you what, the relationship between Khan and Coma and what he's able to get from him as far as a player and an extra level of performance, it's unmatched, my man. It is next level, and that has absolutely helped Damwon continue to be at a world championship tier.
Khan's playing at that insane level. Showmaker is making Chovy look like a regular mid laner, which nobody else has been able to do in the last 2 years. And the most interesting thing for me about Damwon is just the variety that you see in their drafts, the different play styles, the different comps that they run, and they win with everything.
It is so fun to watch. It is such a treat. And then again, we've talked about Khan. We've talked about Showmaker. What about your boy Beryl? What about putting some love down into the bottom lane and your boy with the support. Beryl has absolutely continued that trend of just being a complete menace and an absolute genius at making the plays for the damn one side.
Don't they have a jungler too, who everyone was talking about as not just the best jungler in the world, but probably the best player in the world at one point? Oh, right. I think I know why this team's good.
Not a bad organization. Not a bad organization.
And the Kia brand working out all right so far. The Freddie Beyond loss is a thing of the distant past. Damn One's still in at number 1. They'll have to have some real rough weeks, I think, for them to be knocked out of that top spot. But that is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. As always, thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you guys and gals on that flippity flip.